It's the SawCast, where real people speak that real shit on real topics, and I go by the name of Stevo.
And I'm Ariel. What the fuck you do, y'all? Today we're talking about the Q1 2026 book review. So we're going to go over our 3 books that we read in Q1 that setting our pace for the next, 3 quarters of the year. So, Steven, the first one we want to talk about, I think we both read this one. This was probably like the most eye-opening one of all 3. I mean, all 3 of my books are pretty eye-opening, but this one is just one where it's like, I feel like it's going to take me to the next level mentally wise. What about you for this first one?
So for the Outsmarting Reality, it was one that Aerial said, "Hey, you got to read this one," and I was like, you know what? Let me tap in and tune in because it is about more of a spiritual kind of mental type of thing, and it's like if you do want to elevate yourself and then you do want to get to the basis behind like why do you make certain decisions and why do you not have your desired reality that you want. This is definitely one of those ones. So I think that we're kind of on that progression. So both of us reading it at the same time is probably like, why we got so much from it for sure.
Yeah, so Outsmart Reality by Nero Knowledge is basically about making your reality to whatever you want it to be. Your reality and what you think and what you see is all of a basis of how you perceive things and your perception of things and how you think about things. It's not necessarily like what you want is possible because that's what you want. You know what I'm saying? It's within your grasp. So it's like as long as you got that thinking and you got that that work ethic, you can get to wherever you want to get to, but you got to have your mind right in order for you to get there. So I think the first thing he really talked about is like your frequency, and your frequency is basically who you are as a person in your current state right now. So the universe, and he talks about that a lot, is basically I would say the overarching creator or the math or the thing that makes everything go the way it goes. I mean, the way that your body breathes, the way that your heart beats and everything. There's a way there. There's a discipline there. So something had to have done that, and so and that's because of balance. And if the universe, all it cares about is balance, whether or not you are good or a bad person, doesn't matter. All that matters is if it's balanced. So if you continue to feel like you're not a good person, then because the universe is already balanced, you're going to stay not a good person. If you continue to think you're going to be you're going to be broke. Like, you have to change the way that you feel and think about things in order for your reality to change.
So you said something about frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And on page 202, he said something that stood out to me about frequency.
Okay.
He said your attention determines the frequency with which you align. And your reality will always reflect that frequency, regardless of what you say you want.
Mm-hmm.
So that quote was so powerful to me because it's like where your attention goes, your energy flows. Same type of thing, right? And I think sometimes people don't really take the time to actually think about what am I actually putting my energy and time and attention to. Now, if you don't actually do that, then you'll be thinking because you'll say like, oh, I want to say, oh, I want to save money and invest, but you're going out every weekend. That's where your attention is going. Your attention is going to frivolous activities. And so since you're being frivolous, then you're not actually doing what you want to do. So you're not going to get that desired reality and result because you're fucking around and playing around. You see what I'm saying? Because are you serious or not, basically? Because if you're serious about it, then that's where your attention going to go. Your attention going to go to saving, putting money into a savings account, actually thinking about where you're spending money, budgeting, things of that nature. So it's kind of powerful in nature to really think like, okay, where my attention goes, my energy flows, because I don't think people be real with themselves. Because we want to say that we want a certain desired reality and result, but then you don't want to give up the old habits to get it.
Yeah, he's definitely said that if you're in your old habits and you're doing the old things that kept you. That's the reason why you're in your old frequency. In order for you to get to a new frequency, you got to be a new person. So if a person, let's say you want to be a rich person, right? And you want to have all these successful businesses or whatever your vision of rich is, in order for you to get there, you need to write down what that life would look like for you. What is the life of a person who's rich in your mind? What is the life of a person who's debt free in your mind? And how are they living? And then live like that. But the way that you're living right now obviously is not that, because if it was that, you would be that person.
Facts.
So in order for you to be that person, you just got to step into it. You got to just be that.
But hold on, before I forget.
Okay.
You said step into it. That just So on page 212, he said, "We know all that comes with our desired reality, and we avoid it because we ain't ready." Exactly what you said. You got to do what you got to do to get to where you need to be. But are you ready? Are you truly ready to commit to that desired reality? Because now you're going to have to change, right? And I say this all the time. Change is one of the hardest things for people to do, because now it's a different norm. It's a different reality. You're going to have to get uncomfortable because you're doing things that are not normal. They're not your usual. They're not your routine. And so now you got to break old habits, and it's not going to feel good because you're going against the nature which you've been doing things in, right? So it was comfortable. So you have to get uncomfortable. And if you're not willing to get uncomfortable, you're not going to get that desired reality. But if you're not willing to get uncomfortable, you ain't ready. It's to be whatever you want to be. And then you got to figure out, what do I have to do to get myself ready to be that person that I want to be, right? What steps do I have to take? What routines do I have to implement? What habits? What environments do I have to surround myself in, right? I think that it kind of like, when you read something, it's great to read it, but then you have to think about, what does that mean for me and my circumstances, and what does that mean in general? Like, because people will say something, people are, oh yeah, they love the quotes, but yeah, what is that quote saying, right? That's the important part. So
yeah. Also, one thing I wanted to point out that he said was about emotions, when he talked about emotions, and how somebody how somebody taking over your emotions can deter you from your frequency. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to. People are going to have their own perceptions and their own way of viewing things and things like that. But when you are able to take control of somebody's emotions, you're able to take control of their reality, because the emotions reflect the reality of how you feeling. So if I'm calm and I'm chilling, but you're trying to do everything you can to piss me off and make me mad, then you're not going to get what you want. You know what I'm saying? Because you're probably trying to provoke me to be a different way of what I am. You know what I'm saying? Take me out of my control. If you're constantly in control of who you are, and people that you are communicating with, or that you're in communication with, are not, then you know what I'm saying? You good. But one thing you do need to do is do not let people take your emotions and change them. However you feel and who you are, you need to stand 10 toes on that, so that you will be a good person. Then you can make sure that you stay on track, because getting emotional and stuff like that is going to take you off track, and then you're not going to be able to get to the reality that you really want. So you definitely need to make sure that keep your head on a swivel, keep your emotions intact, and keep your, you know what I'm saying, make sure that if people around you are doing things to try to deter your emotions and things like that, or get a rise out of you. Sometimes people are just trying to get a rise out of you. Like, even on social media, like if you see something that, if it's something that you see that people are trying to piss you off because of your demographic or something like that, you ain't got to feed into that, because they're doing that just to piss you off, just to get a reaction out of you, so that you can talk about it, so that they can get what they want from you. You know what I'm saying? Make sure when you control your emotions, you control your frequency, you control yourself.
So we keep touching on good person, right? On page 209 as well, he said that to most people, a good person is someone who we can relate to, doesn't make other people feel bad, puts others before themselves, even to their own detriment, knows their place, and is humble. Right? And so with those different things, let me just break those down. Who we can relate to. right? Everybody wants somebody they can they can relate to, but I feel like nowadays that's the problem. We all want to be like each other, but we have to respect each other's differences because the differences is what make the everybody unique. But everybody wants to be
It will
cookie
lead to
cutter.
education.
See what I'm saying? Because now I can educate myself on a different person, and now I know how that person reacts, so I know how to communicate with them in a way that I feel comfortable, right? In a way that I can get my desired reality and result out of these conversations. And then doesn't make other people feel bad. That's a big one, right? Because as a person who was a people pleaser in life, I just recently had to stop that because sometimes you're gonna make other people feel bad, but it is what it is because we're not gonna always agree, right? And it's just a part of it, right? Part of you having your opinions and everything like that, but it's all right. It's okay. You don't have to always care about other people's feelings because most of the time people don't care about yours. And then to put others before themselves, even to their own detriment. See, that's a thing that people got to be careful about, right? Because you can love people and you can love everybody, but first you have to have self-love. Because self-love is the most important love. Like, okay, everybody's going to say the religious thing with God. Yes, obviously the love for God and with our, if you
Yeah,
think
but he
you
talks
as a
about that
greater
in the
being.
book, like as in the Bible where they say God is within you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for
God
sure.
is within you. That's how he knows what you're going to do.
They say
That's
the
how,
Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and we're
but
spiritual beings, so you
yeah.
see what I'm saying?
So one thing my last point I want to make about the book was about conviction and how in order for you to step into your reality, you have to know for 100% fact that is your reality. You gotta, if you want to be successful, you have to know I'm going to be successful. But it's not necessarily you telling yourself I'm gonna be successful, but you not really believing that you're gonna be that. You know what I'm saying? You have to really believe in yourself and know that you're going to be that so that when there are opportunities that come up for you to be successful, you're already in the mind state to accept those opportunities and be open to those opportunities. But if you don't have that conviction, you're not going to get there. So that's a big thing that I really took from it was conviction, knowing for 100% fact that sure that whoever you are, you're going to be that. That's your reality. It's going to happen for you. You know what I'm saying? Not that if this happened, that happened. No, it's going to. Right now, all you are right now is just on a journey to get to that reality. You know what I'm saying? It's already in your journey. You just haven't got there yet, but you have to know that it is. Not that, oh, you praying and like I think he talked about that. You praying like, Lord, please let me get this. Lord, please let me get that. That's telling the universe already that you don't have it.
Right.
You don't believe that you can get it. You
Right.
know you if you praying for something and if I ask you for some shit, that means I know that you got it and I need it. That don't mean like if I know that I got it, you know what I'm saying, then I don't need to ask you for nothing. That's exactly what he said in the book. You don't have to ask the universe or God or whoever you pray to for what you need if you already got it in you. All you need to be praying for is the discernment to get it when you see it and pick it up and notice it in your journey so that you can get to where you're going. That's it. But you don't need to be saying, I please God, let me get rich. No, you need to be saying, make sure that I want to get rich, but I want to make sure that my mind is right and my head is right, everything. So when I do get rich, I can make sure it's sustained. I can sustain it. Make sure you give me the knowledge to make sure that I know where to put my money at. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to get rich, but I want to make sure I can put my money where it go. I want to make sure I get the real estate that I want to get. That's where you need to be at. You don't need to be in like a begging state.
But I think we have to be in a verb prayer, right? You have to pray as in action, right? I feel like some people pray as just in a pie in the sky prayer, like, oh, can you please just bestow upon me some blessings? But the thing is, you have to pray actionably, right? You have to be like, God, give me the wisdom and the discernment to know what decisions to make to become wealthy, and give me the strength to endure the challenges that come with that responsibility of being a wealthier version of myself. You know what I'm saying? And help me through those tough times and give me the guidance that I need to navigate my path, right? A lot of people just say, oh, I want to get rich and if you could just bless me, and I swear that's no. that doesn't really get you there. What typically gets you there is like, thank you God for blessing me with the strength, the endurance to get to where I need to be, the discernment to make the
All right,
decisions
because
that
you
I need
already
to
put it
make.
in my path for me to get there.
Right, basically.
So.
Speaking into existence.
All right, number 2. I'm gonna let you want to go first.
Yeah.
Okay,
I go
go ahead.
first on the number 2. On the number
Cool.
2 for me was a concise guide to macroeconomics. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, it's Stevo the Great if you don't. But if you follow me on Instagram, I kind of went over this a little bit as well. So, a concise guide to macroeconomics by David A. Moss. Now, this book either confirms your knowledge of the economy or it challenges it, right? But the chapters that stood out to me most were exchange rates, inflation, GDP, and nominal GDP. That really opened my eyes to the relationships between different governments, different events, and just how the economy moves as a collective and the relationships that different entities have with each other. So, an example of like an exchange rate is like, and what an exchange rate is the price of currency of one country in opposed to another one. So, for example, like pesos, right? So pesos is 17.9 pesos the last time I checked to the dollar, right? So a lot of times that affects how countries trade, right? Because the cost of production might be more than just importing things. And I think that's where America has got to the point to where it's became a problem because we've imported so much, and it's probably because some of these third world countries or some of these countries with less GDP than us, it's a little cheaper to import from there than it actually is to build homegrown. But the problem with not building homegrown is you have a lot of issues with unemployment sometimes, right? When things shift to more of a technical thing, you don't have more people who don't have that skill set, right? So training is an expensive thing. So sometimes you have to train your society to be updated into the new current ways of ways of making money. But yeah, microeconomics was definitely one of those good ones, and it definitely put some change on my brain for sure. And it's definitely one of those that I'll continue to read and like just take the notes from. But it was just a little interesting tidbit that I got from there for sure.
Okay, that's really good. My next book is called "Is Marriage for White People" by Ralph Richard Banks, and his argument basically is that if Black women dated outside their race, it would help the Black community as a whole. And so that was really interesting to me just going through the book, because he basically was talking about how a lot of things that Black women go through and the reason why Black educated women aren't married like they are now, and the dating pool that we have, the men that we have to choose from, how Black educated women normally date down as far as like financially and educationally, and sometimes even emotionally, situationally, things like that. And so to hear that, I'm thinking like when I'm reading the book, I'm thinking he's going to get to the point where he's like trying to hold Black men accountable. But no, he said just forget Black men altogether and date somebody else. Because his argument is that if you have children, if a Black woman has a child by somebody who isn't Black, that child is going to choose their Blackness over the other race. Versus if a Black man has a child by somebody who isn't, of the same race, of a different race, then that child either goes 50-50. There's no guarantee that they're going to choose to be Black. You know what I'm saying? So if a Black woman has a child that's mixed, that child is going to identify as Black, which is going to make that child go into seek other Black relationships, which would help the Black community versus the other way. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. I thought that he was going to give us some tips on how to be better as within our community. And actually he talks about that too. Like with educated Black women, we real hesitant to date outside our race, which our counterparts, educated Black men, are not. Y'all go outside y'all race. Like I think even when me and you have conversations too, like I've heard you say things like you'll date a Latino woman or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And I've never said anything like that. I just don't even like the way that every time that I like describe the man that I want or describe the man that I like. It's just he's completely black every time, even to the down to the skin color, and I think that might have something to do with. And in the book, he talks about that a lot. How I think that goes to me, maybe I just look at that as more masculine. I don't know. I just look at black men as the most masculine. And it's just, I don't know what it is about being a black woman that we just do not. I think it might be the education too, because I think that's what he said as well. Like, black women are educated, so we know what other races did to us throughout the time in history. We know how people have treated us. We know how the system treats our black men. We know how the system will treat our children. We know how everything. So we don't want to. We know how other races look at us for real, not for fake. So it's like, why would I want to procreate and be with somebody like that? You know what I'm saying? And also, I also don't see them as the most masculine men in the world. I see black men as the strongest, the fastest, like being stronger, being faster, being more logical, being more smarter, being more quick-witted. To me is more masculine than versus being the person who has the most money. To me, that's not the most masculine.
So he said married, right? Marriage.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so
That's interesting.
What you mean?
It's interesting because now that I'm thinking that the reason for that decision making would be the way that we look at relationships are different.
Women and black women and black men?
Yeah.
Okay, elaborate on that.
Because going into it, y'all are making, based off of what he's saying, it sounds like he's saying that black women make their decisions based off of educated black women make their decisions based off of historical factors as well.
Yeah.
Right? And black men,
we're
really making our decisions off of procreation alone. So off of that procreating thing,
I think procreation and image are like what you see.
Image as well, yeah. What you see, absolutely.
For sure.
I mean, because a lot of us do, say that the black woman is beautiful, but also we do find beauty in other women as well. So that is a thing. Beauty as a woman is a part of what attracts a man to you.
Right.
So if a man finds other women, other hues and shades of women beautiful, then that is, where his attention
I see what you're saying, because as a man, to make a decision to be in a relationship with somebody else, all it has to be is like, you just have to be attractive sometimes. The woman just has to be attractive sometimes, and then y'all can see a relationship with her, because y'all the most logical one in the group. So y'all in the equation, so y'all can fix the other logical things that may be wrong with her or anything like that. But the physical is more so. Or, the attraction is that's it. But I feel you, because with black women, it's definitely different. We're not just looking at the physical. We're looking at a lot of different things.
Prioritizing that other stuff over that. But
I agree with you.
It's because it makes sense, though. It makes sense, though, because y'all are thinking, because the man is a leading factor in the family, right? And so black women are thinking, okay, so if I have a man who's a leading factor, I want him to lead based off of this criteria. And y'all like, it has to make more sense, because my kids have to be led by a man that I would respect in all aspects and manners, and that when they start researching what their dad's culture and history was, it would make sense to me and them.
Right. One thing which is interesting that he talked about was that he talked about like how single black women should date single parent black women should date white men, like men who have more money. Like, they shouldn't be looking for a black man to procreate with. They should be trying to in order to push the black community forward, since you already have a home that's kind of broken, then you need to be trying to be with somebody who's way more financially fit. And a person who, because a man is a man, you can get another man of another race to look like, because we just said this, the perception of the woman matters more than whatever she come with. You know what I'm saying? But with a black man, if she comes with that, then there's a little bit more nuance there for what a single mom in the black community versus a single mom, a different person in a different community looking at a single mom. He looking at her differently. He's still looking at her as the woman, and then she comes with that. But as a black man, he understands everything that comes with that. So he's more hesitant to date a single mom. You know what I'm saying? Plus, it's not a lot of men who are I think he was saying it's not a lot of black educated men who you want to date, who would date a single mom with 3 kids. If it's a I'm saying,
You know what?
That's what he's saying. So he's saying your pool is limited. So why are you in that pool? You need to go to this pool. And if you go to that pool, if you go to the pool of other men, if you open up your pool, then you'll be able to excel more in society because traditionally or statistically you're not. Like you're not going to sell in society if you stay with black men. You need to go somewhere else in order for you and your kids to be good. And y'all still going to be claiming black, and if you have a baby by him, baby's still going to be black. So you need to go that way. That was interesting. Cause to be real, like you got a black educated man is not. That's what Kevin Samuels used to try to say, because he remember he used to say high value men.
Yeah.
He was telling these women with 3-4 kids that you're not going to get a high value man. And what he meant was you're not going to get an educated black man with money, with no kids, and you have 3 kids. It's going to be hard for you to get him. No. So you need to be trying to look for something else.
Now, okay.
So everything was making sense.
So he's saying that the pool,
and like what I like is evidence based too.
The pool of men that you're seeking.
Yeah.
That you're seeking intimacy with is a limited pool.
Yes.
So he's saying since that pool is limited for the time being, the percentage of y'all that they don't see as qualified should go be where should go date somewhere else where they see you as qualified.
Yes, and they will accept you and your kids, and y'all can progress into the future.
You know, when I first heard it, I was emotional,
bro.
But then now that you saying it and I'm listening.
Okay, so then he said,
I see his logic a little bit.
Because he started grouping black women into like classes, and I need to wrap it up because I know I love this damn book.
Hey,
but he started.
I might have to read that one.
I got you. Give it back in the week like you do mine. Anyway, he groups black women into like groups, like poor, middle class, and then whatever. Or I think he do poor and then he do educated black women, or like saying uneducated black, whatever, black single mom, whatever. But the difference between them is like, okay, let's say a poor woman, right? A woman that's in the hood right now, a woman that's got kids right now, her baby daddy's probably in jail. Statistically, her baby daddy's in jail if he ain't there. He might be locked up or something like that. And so she doesn't have, like, the majority of the men that she would mess with since her baby daddy locked up is also locked up. Like, all of them are doing bad, majority of. If it's a poor black man and he's still in the hood at 30, 40 years old, he's not doing good. He does not have the resources to move you and your kids forward. So you need to be trying to look for something else that can move y'all. You need to be trying to look for a different type of person if you want to move your family forward.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you are a single mom and you are poor or you just you're on, if you own some type of assistance, period. Then your pool of men is low. You know what I'm saying? But the decent man out of that group, he said, is going to go for somebody like a college educated woman. So let's say that, and we know men like that, I won't say like they're not college educated. They haven't went to a 4-year university, but they might got a trade. They got a CDL or something like that. They might got 1 or 2 kids. They don't have 3, 4 kids. You know what I'm saying? They doing well for themselves. He's a black man. He doing well for himself, but he wants to progress. He wants to get better. He's going to look for, he's supposed to be with the woman who got 2 kids and who's trying to figure it out. Or 3 kids and trying to figure it out. That's the woman he's supposed to be with, but that's not what he wants. He gonna want a college-educated woman with no kids. And a lot of times, the college-educated women with no kids will deal with those men who have 2 kids and they have a CDL, or they trying to do something to get out the hood. You know what I'm saying? Or they work at a warehouse job or something like that. He can get, so the college-educated females, he was saying the reason why they get married is because they can have a good chance to get married because they can take the poor women's men, and then they can take the college educated women's men, because the poor women's men, he know if he get with a woman that's educated and everything, his life gonna be better. He know he can step it up to the next stratosphere. You know what I'm saying? He looks at a woman that's on his level like, we can't go nowhere. We gonna stay at the same level forever. but he can. And then a college educated woman with no kids, of course, is eligible to the college educated men with no kids. So she gets them too. So she gets them, and she gets them. Then she gets the older men too. So she has options. You know what I'm saying? Versus the woman with the poor woman who if her baby daddy got locked up or he's terrible, then she don't really have that many more options for other dudes because the rest of them are terrible. And the ones that she do have option with, they don't want her. They want a better woman in their eyes. So it's like you need to date outside your race. He was like, those type of women need to date outside their race. It was very interesting.
Yeah, might have to read that
He ate. But to me and my best friend, we don't want to date anything other than black. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it was really interesting how I just really hoped for some tips on how to keep black people together but he said eventually we're going to stay together in this process. That's what he's saying. We're not going to split up like this. We're still going to be together. Because let's say you are a single mom and you got kids, your baby daddy's still in the mix. You know what I'm saying? So when you elevate you and your kid's life, he gonna see that. He might try to elevate his life because of that. It's a lot of benefits to you elevating and being better for our community, for everything as a whole. If you take your kids out of that poverty situation and get them to where they need to go, they have statistically everything will change for black people and for him. So and your ex could possibly do better because of that. It can change your community just by that. So it was interesting. I really liked the book. I think all black women should read it. Am I going to date a white man? Absolutely. I'm not going to date nobody probably outside my race. I don't think I want to do that. But it was a very interesting take on a problem that we have in our community.
Hey, that was
No,
heavy.
I'm a big yappers.
That was heavy.
What you got?
My last book was the economics book, and like I said previously, if you follow
Wait, did you have the economics book, the second one?
No, it's macro.
Oh, macro. What's
A
this one?
concise guide to microeconomics. This is the economics book.
Okay.
So the economics book
Oh, you was on the money
was
this quarter.
Yeah,
Q1.
this one was an overall look at economics and how the key thinkers of our history have shaped how we view the economy and policies that people abide by now. So, one interesting topic was that I saw in there that they discuss a lot of interesting things, but one thing is like, why do diamonds cost more than water, right? Mm-hmm. So diamonds cost more than water, as they said in the book on page 63. It said because diamonds are extremely valuable no matter how many you have. And while water is less valuable per unit as the quantity increases. Right now, we can go into the nuances of why that is, right? So like you said, human capital. Yes, we can go into the human capital aspect of that is because the amount of energy and time and everything that it takes to produce that diamond as well. Mm-hmm. Yes, that is a part of what's so costly is the resources that you have to deploy to even go find that diamond and then to manufacture that diamond and all of that. I believe is a part of the reason why, right? Because you get that diamond from where? Somewhere else, right? They have to mine it, and then now
only a certain amount of people own those mines and stuff like that as well to even be able to get access to it.
Right. So that's an oligopoly. So since you have an oligopoly now, they could work semi in unison to say if the price is this high, then we all have our price this high. There's no matter what, we're all going to win, right? So that's probably a part of the reason too. Not saying that it is, but it could be logically speaking.
No, for sure.
So another on page, this one came from page 171 in there, and it was and the title was "Economics is the Science of Scarce Resources." Now, they mentioned the key problem for society is deciding which good to produce and in which quantity, in order to best satisfy the consumers, right? So the example being that if you have a field of livestock, then you can't produce crop at the same time. So I feel like that's definitely an issue that we go through in society, right? And that I feel like determines like who runs that country, right? Whoever runs that country, I believe they determine where the resources go what's important to as far as imports, exports, and all the governing bodies, because even the businesses, right? Because in America we're capitalistic, right? So the businesses, they run a lot of what's going on. So if they decide that, hey, I want to outsource my labor, I don't really care too much about having a bunch of people working here in factories if I can get it on cents of the dollar over in China. And that's why it makes more sense where you say, oh, this made in China, this is made in Peru, this is made in, such and such, because the cost of labor is cheaper, right? But I feel like we got in America to, since it's so capitalistic, that it hurts the people now because we've gotten to an excess of that to where it's just strictly profit and we're not thinking about people no more. So now we kind of got away from that, and now that's why we have so many major swings in our economy. And then recently we've had major economic declines, is because we have all of this outsourcing, right? So we don't even have people in house that can do these things, and now it's becoming a hindrance to us. And now other countries are catching up because we were caring so much about the money that now only the top few people, only the top few businesses are really profiting, and then everybody else has to fight over the scraps. So another thing that I saw was interesting too was it said businesses pay more than market wage, right? And now the following scenarios are some of the reasons why businesses choose to pay more than market wage. And that's 1, to attract better quality employees. 2, to keep employees healthy enough to perform well. And 3, to boost the morale and minimize turnover. And I thought about that. I said, if you think about it, all of the companies that are ran well, they do pay well.
Yeah.
All of the companies who
employees
people
care more.
All the companies whose people want to work for, they got good benefits.
Yeah, because I can come to work and pay attention to what I got to do if I got adequate childcare.
I can pay attention to what I got to do if I can take care of my health. Now I got health care. Now I can. Now I'm not sick. Not sick.
I'm not sick. I can pay attention longer in the meeting. I don't have a lot of things that's stressing me out at home, so I can really lock into my job.
At home. I got a 401k. Now I got some money saved up. Now me and my family are good. Just in case something happen and the company does have to consolidate a bit, I'm straight. I'm good. And then it does motivate people too. If you're making more money, then that's I feel like that's a major complaint of a lot of people. I don't make enough money. Right? So now when you feel like you don't make enough money, that affects how your work ethic. Now you're in there kind of laissez-faire. Like a daisical a bit, like, I fuck with this shit, but not really. And if they pushing efficiency and they want people to really be working for real, then now they like, well, either I have to replace this person with the person that thinks that this is a lot of money, or I have to pay this person more money. So then that's when the tough business decisions get made. And so just reading books like the economics book kind of educated me more on how things work and the different relationships of businesses, corporations.
I like books like that because
So
it really makes sense of the world. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
It helps you understand why things happen the way they do.
Why shit tick and talk.
Yes, because sometimes, like even in corporate or not corporate, I'll say like being like rich people. I'll say in general. I'll say as an example,
Wealthy folks. Yeah.
Wealthy people they kind of isolate themselves from people who aren't wealthy, and we didn't not that you don't understand that, but there's really reasons for that. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
And that's some stuff that it's like you don't have to explain yourself that much, and you don't have to listen to a whole lot of comparisons. You don't want to listen to a whole bunch of people crying about stuff you issues and stuff you don't think about anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's less stressful, but just sometimes when you think they're isolating themselves from everybody, you think it's because of something, but really it's a whole other background to why the things work the way they do. So I love books like that.
No, for sure. And that's my last book, man.
Oh, okay. So my book is called Nonviolent Communication. And I wanted to read Nonviolent Communication because I feel like growing up, Steve is my little brother, so he know. I feel like my siblings used to say that I was mean or whatever. So I'm like, mean? I don't think I'm mean. I think I'm is passionate mixed with direct.
For sure.
It's directness and passionate. So it's like when you ask me a question, I'm gonna tell you exactly how I feel, bam, boom, blah, without thinking about how you feel. Cause I used to didn't give a fuck. But now I think one thing my mom told me too is like, she was like, sometimes you don't have a lot of empathy. You know what I'm saying? And that's very important in communication and if I want people to understand how I feel and I want people to listen to how I feel, I gotta have empathy toward how they feel. And I can get to where I can really people can start to act the way that I would more want them or feel better around them to act if I was more empathetic to them versus just worried about how the fuck I feel about shit. You know what I'm saying? And so nonviolent communication is like, it just teaches you how to communicate without the violent part. The violent part of the communication is how the other person feels about the way you communicate. Because just like y'all saying that I was mean, it was in the book, it says when you're communicating with somebody, my problem with y'all was calling me mean. I was like, how the fuck am I mean? You know what I'm saying? You see just how I said that? It's like calling somebody something is not the way to communicate them how you feel. Telling them what they're doing that makes you feel like they mean is what's going to get y'all communication. So if I want to, instead of y'all saying, what you're saying is mean, you're saying I don't like the way you're talking to me because to me you're talking to me a little bit too strong. Maybe too strong might not even be something in the book. They say something like even when you take it there, that might even make somebody feel like, okay, you need to be able to communicate exactly how you feel and what exactly that emotion is making you see. You know what I'm saying? So instead of saying you're mean, say I don't like when you use these type of words because those type of words make me feel some type of way, and it makes me not want to listen to what you're saying. So if you use a different type of word, maybe I'll feel a little bit better about it. Or I don't like how loud you said that to me, and you using those words mixed with that tone, mixed with that volume, makes me feel like you're trying to talk down to me, and I don't like that. And that's not the way you're going to be able to communicate with me. That's how you need to say it.
So so I think that what I'm hearing from that is that the importance of being able to communicate your feelings and communication into responses. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like sometimes a person responds emotionally, and when they're responding emotionally, they want to quickly respond because you hit their emotions. Now, that's why they say think before you speak. A lot of times that's just cliche shit. People are like, what the fuck does that even mean? They say think before you speak because you can respond better. You know what I'm saying? So if a person is offending you, it's best to respond back in a way that they can digest. But if you don't,
that they can digest,
that's
number one.
And B, that they can understand, so they can understand what are you saying to them. Because a lot of times, no.
Okay.
But a lot of times,
that's common sense for you.
Nah, I ain't saying that. Just from what you said. But it's because when you communicate in that way, it helps people receive the message. You know what I'm saying? But it's not the easiest thing to do, but it has to take work to get done. But I think anytime you see any type of friction in communication, it's usually because of that, right? Because the call and response. The person saying something, they might have offended them, but the person reacting to that offense, they're reacting in a negative manner because they just reacting and they're not responding.
Right. So one thing they said was really a big blocker to issues with communication is casting your judgments on people based off your own morals. So like saying like let's say somebody be like, man, he lazy. You a lazy ass nigga. It's like what? It's like, okay, you could be feeling like you been doing stuff all day. Like you could be feeling like I went to the gym today. I ate some food today. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I went out today. We did a podcast today. How motherfuckers call me lazy? You know what I'm saying? Like, what about that makes me lazy? And then now we ain't gonna have no communication because now I'm irritated because you try to call me lazy and I'm not. Instead of saying that, instead of your, and it could be because I asked you, because when you came in the house, you didn't put your shoes here, and I've asked you 50 times to put them there, but you never put them there. So obviously you're a lazy ass nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? It could just be something like that. But even you casting your judgments on people and calling them names like that, that's going to prevent y'all from having a good conversation. It's not going nowhere after that. You know what I'm saying? And I'll say for sure, in ways that I communicate, I definitely be like, motherfuckers is goofy, slow, whatever, boo, boo, boo. But it's like, I'm not getting anywhere doing that. You know what I'm saying? Communicating to motherfuckers how I feel like that. If I'm like, man, this nigga annoying. How is you annoying? Because you asked me the same question that I've already answered. And maybe that person didn't understand the answer, so maybe they're asking it and they want me to give them a different way of answering
maybe you're just annoyed because you feel like that motherfucker ain't attentive.
But what is attentive? That's what they'll say. Then somebody will go into that.
No. Attentive is descriptive enough because you're saying that you're not attentive, and I feel like you're not attentive because why am I answering the same question multiple times when if you're paying attention to me, you should have heard me the first time
why aren't
or
you,
at least the second time.
But he'll say in the book, like, ask him, why aren't you paying attention? Like, what is preventing you from listening to what I'm saying?
Exactly. What is affecting your attention?
But you said, what you just say though?
Attentive, because I'm saying you're not attentive, but he's saying I'm saying you would say that, but then when they have something else to say back, so it's like okay, so why are you not attentive?
How can I keep your attention?
Right. Facts.
Because like communicating what you want from somebody through a demand ain't the way. You can't be like
unless they're just a great listener, but most of the times, yeah.
Yeah. So just like we said, instead of evaluating people on what you think they're trying to say, evaluate on what they doing. Like, talk about what's happening. Stop making judgments on what's happening and talk about what's happening. That's basically what the book is saying. If you start telling people what they're doing to make you feel some type of way, then you will get somewhere versus telling them, just automatically calling them a name. And I think that was just made me think about my last relationship because I was direct more so. I always being like, what am I doing that make you think that I'm not, that I don't care or whatever? You know what I'm saying? What is it? You like, because motherfuckers say, you don't care. You don't feel like this. You don't do that. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what actions am I doing for you to feel like that? Mm-hmm. And then they wasn't. That's why I always, every time we have a podcast, y'all, I always ask the person who's an expert, how do we get people when they're not healing and learning like us to get to that point? Because it's like, I know I need to direct communicate with you, and I am, but you're not understanding what direct communication is to me. You still using adjectives. I'm using verbs and nouns, and you're using adjectives. Your name call it, and I'm like, this is XYZ. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing. And like Steven said earlier, knowing the person you communicating with is huge. Because I was gonna do Surrounded by Idiots, but basically Surrounded by Idiots goes into nonviolent communication, where Surrounded by Idiots is where that's the book that I was gonna talk about, but that's where you being a nigga with the NBA, which is me. And I'm talking to niggas without no NBA, and I'm expecting y'all to be on the same level mentally wise as me. And when y'all not, I'm calling y'all stupid. No, you're stupid. It's like, Ariel, you're stupid. Because why the fuck do you think a nigga with not an MBA gonna know that and be able to talk to you on that level about that conversation? That's you being stupid. Because if you know better, then you're stupid. If you don't know better, then you're not stupid. So if you don't, like, let's say you don't know something. Like you're going into a conversation and you don't know that you're wrong, then you're not stupid. But if you know damn well that the person that you're talking to ain't on your level and you expecting them to give you a response that's on your level, then who's stupid? You, nigga. So Surrounded by Idiots was basically saying you're actually the dumb motherfucker in the conversation, not the motherfucker that's uneducated. No, you are, because you're more educated and you know that they're not educated. So why the fuck are you talking to them about that? And that really helped me stop talking to motherfuckers online, because then I stopped giving a fuck what y'all was talking about, because it's like, now I'm the idiot going back and forth with somebody in the comments who I know, based off of your response, that you don't know what the fuck you talking about. So why the fuck would I be going back and forth with you? No, and I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm the expert. That's what me and Steve was watching Jubilee. We was irritated when we was watching that Jubilee.
Oh, yeah.
Jubilee's so annoying sometimes, because... And that's why people watching and stuff like that. Because it's a lot of people who know with, like, it'd be like 1 versus 30. It'd be like an expert versus 30 people who just emotional.
Facts.
And in Surrounded by Idiots, they'll tell you that one person's the idiot, not the 30 people who's emotional. No, you are, because why the fuck are you arguing with them? And you're an expert. You need to be arguing. When you debate, you don't debate against somebody lower than you. You're supposed to debate on the same level.
Right.
So that's what I learned. And I really, really think that with Is Marriage for White People, Nonviolent Communication, and Outsmarting Reality, I feel like I really learned to get my head in the game for Q1. So just to be prepared, because we did, our post and stuff did go viral. And I learning all of this stuff really made me not give a fuck what people were saying. Like, it didn't make it. I didn't really care.
For real.
I mean, I love when y'all have like good conversations and stuff like that. But when they're ignorant, idiotic conversations, we try to delete them and stuff like that. We don't want that type of stuff on our platform. But I stopped caring, and I was being able to communicate that to our guests who get bad energy because I have the communication book. Well, you need to stop caring too, because it's not that big of a deal. These are people who don't know you. It doesn't matter.
And that snippet, they're getting their emotional reaction based off that snippet. And that snippet is triggering something in them based off of their reality, not yours.
It's not even part of your frequency. So what's your problem with it? That's all 3 of my books wrapped up. This is SawCast.
It's the SawCast.
Thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. You know what I'm saying? If it's not a great comment, we probably won't keep it. But if it's just contributing to the conversation, we love those type of comments for sure.
Absolutely.
We'll see you into it.